10B. Before we run out of time, I wanted to show you guys something cool that I've been working on. So, as part of your engineering degree in Drexel University, your senior year, you have to work on a project. You have to do this massive project that goes on the whole year. So, my team and I, we actually started a company for our project that's called C-Vital. Yeah, we started a company, we're a registered LLC, which stands for liability something something.
Liability something.
You should probably know what that is.
I should know what it is, but I'm not that much into the legal stuff. But yes, the point is that we are a company, and this is what we're doing, right? So every year, people fall off a ship, the side of a ship, and they don't really, nobody on the ship tends to realize, oh, somebody fell overboard. So what we decided to do is a drone that's gonna help people be rescued. So what happens is somebody falls overboard on a ship, some sensor gets tripped, something tells the ship, hey, somebody fell off. And then this drone gets deployed, goes out into the water, it looks for the person, right? It has a camera. It looks for the person until they locate them, and then they throw a life vest at them.
How would the
And the drone does all of this on its own. So there's nobody piloting the drone. The drone does this all automatically.
So it's automatic.
Yes, and the word for that is autonomous. Okay?
So how would the drone detect if somebody falls?
Yeah, how would it
So the drone has a camera. So once the drone is out on the sea, it has a camera to locate the person. When somebody falls from the ship, we're working on the technology so that once you exit a certain area within the ship, a sensor, yeah, exactly. There's a sensor that's going to be monitoring you, and as soon as you leave that area, the ship is going to be like, all right, this person is certain feet away from that range, so we need to go find this person. This person probably fell off the boat.
be nowhere without being trained.
But then, so is there going to be like multiple?
So as of right now, we're doing it for one person. So if somebody falls off, the drone will go out there and look for you, give you a life vest.
So I get that you can do that for people and everything, but the thing is, like, if it's going to be a monitor since it's like what's in the area and everything, what if it was visionary and so, you know, like,
No, so it's specific to you. So like, you know those bracelets they give you when you go into a cruise?
Yeah.
There's gonna be some type of electronic in there that's gonna monitor from the ship, right? So say you're all the way out here, you're outside of that range of the ship. So then because of that ID, we're able to track you.
Oh, so
Oh,
like
no,
they
I
would detect how far you're away from the
Correct, and if you're a certain distance away, then we can say like, oh, this person is clearly off the boat, we need to go find
How
them.
did you get the idea?
I thought
Or
you
team
said-
work together.
Wait,
It's the words.
All right, so let me get through this and I'll take questions at the
how
end.
much the company?
Okay, so this is what our drone looks like. I'll get to it. That's what our drone looks like. There's a battery, there's a switch. This is where the flotation device goes. Now, let's connect this to geometry. Where do you guys see geometry
Oh,
in
you
this?
put geometry back in.
Of course, that's what I'm teaching. Hold on, questions at the end. Where do we see geometry in this?
Angles.
Okay, there's definitely angles, right?
There's
There's
a
an angle here.
circle.
What else? That's a shape, correct. What else? Think about what we've been talking about in class this new chapter, with chapter 4. Okay, where do we see symmetry? Right?
All the propellers.
Yeah.
Okay, if I cut it through the half, right, it looks the same on the left side and on the right side for the propellers. What about the propellers themselves? What does that remind you guys of?
Shapes.
Shapes, and what kind of shapes? It starts with a C. Congruent shapes, right? Look at the propellers. All of the propellers have to be designed the same way so that they can lift the drone the same way. Okay? So we have reflectional symmetry. What about rotational symmetry? Does anybody remember what rotational symmetry is?
When you rotate it, does it still look the same?
Right. So when we rotate, right, if I take looking at the propellers, if I rotate it 90 degrees or less, it's gonna line up with itself again. So if I take it and I rotate it, it's gonna look the same as when it originally.
So will it have like a cover and go out of it?
What's up?
Will it have like a cover to protect the battery?
Right. So the battery is gonna be covered, yes, and all the electronics are stored here. And speaking of the electronics, let me show you those.
It was cool that you added geometry back.
Because this is what I've been doing, right?
How
So,
you gonna be able to test out like
So in order to test this, we test it out individual, piece by piece. So in order to test the motors that spin these propellers, we need to take the propellers off so the drone doesn't fly away. And we test each of the motors. And then inside here, we test all the electronic components one by one. So let me show you what those electronic components look like. So this is a circuit of the entire drone. This is what the entire circuit of the drone looks like, okay? So again, congruent figures right here. They look similar, right?
They look like a
Same
lot.
shape and same size. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in here.
And if you mess up once, then
And that's the other thing, right? So I'm the only electrical engineer in the team. So all of this electrical stuff is my responsibility. So if I connect the wire a way that's not supposed to, the battery could blow, the drone could explode, something bad could happen. Yeah, so it would be very unsafe.
What do your other teammates do?
So there's 3 mechanical engineers, so they design the pieces that hold everything together. I'm the electrical, so I do all the electrical work, and there's somebody who's doing the coding, because there's a lot of programming going on. Okay, so that's what the connections look like.
No, I don't want to.
Then the other thing that I worked on was a PCB, and PCB stands for printed circuit board. Okay, so I designed a circuit on my computer, and then I got it printed, and then I put it. It's kind of like a 3D printer, but it's a little bit different because it prints circuits, and it prints these copper traces so that they can conduct electricity. So you get it printed similar to a 3D printer, and then this is what it looks like once all the components are put onto it, and I connect the cables and the components. Okay?
No, alright.
It's fun actually, but
It's
it is fun doing this kind of stuff. So
It's like a lot of work.
in order to connect these cables, you do something that's called soldering. Soldering is when you take this special metal, and you melt it. Yeah, you melt it so the connection stays there, and there's an electrical flow between the components and the traces. And this is what our drone actually looks like now. Yes, it's huge. It's massive. Okay, so that's what the drone actually looks like, and these are some of the diagrams that we've
I think
made.
you gotta make multiple.
Yeah, so the camera, you can't really see it. The camera's on the other
Oh,
side.
from the other side.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, but yeah, that's what we've been working on. And as of right now, we're almost ready to start flying the drone.
Which
I can take some questions.
I have a shirt.
So these sweatshirts,
Costs a lot.
they are $22 each. I have to pay out of pocket for mine. Yeah.
So you gonna pick the artist?
No.
You should go on Shark Tank.
Someone in last class told me the same thing, and we might. So we've gotten a lot of funding from external people. A lot of people have invested money into this, and they're pretty interested to see where this ends up at. I own 20% of the company.
I mean,
You could go in there with Fabio.
Yeah, we can.
What's the DC for like if it's in a put
So we do have a manual for it, right? We're gonna have a remote to control the drone. So the drone is gonna operate completely automatically, right? But in case something happens, in case some human input needs to be put in, then it'll be a backup with a controller in order to control the
I'm
drone.
talking about like a scale or weight on the boat.
Oh, okay,
Like
so,
when a certain amount of weight like leaves the boat,
okay.
that
What
would
if
be
it-
hard.
what if
I see
it's
what you mean, that's good to know.
but that would be hard to determine.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of moving stuff in the ship, right? Like, so some stuff changes.
Can I help make it drone?
You could help make a drone. I don't know if you could help me with this one. This one's pretty complicated.
Okay, well next time.
Okay.
Let me know.
It's like a body since it's
Basically.
flying over water with like the body
Yeah.
and something like.
So we're gonna have it we're gonna program it so that it floats a little bit above sea level, so that it doesn't get
But
splashed.
what if something stays when you go with?
It's all waterproof. The entire once we're done with it, it will all be waterproof.
I need
Yep.
that.
So what do
You gotta encase it inside special plastic and seal it inside.
Maybe making like
Where's the lightsaber?
So the payload, it's this thing right here. It's a flotation device. It's a log. So once it hits the water, a CO2 canister inside snaps, and it inflates, and it just becomes like a log, and
Oh,
people
like
hold
a
on
real
to it.
long one?
Yeah.
Yo, is the logo connected to the drone? Yeah, that's what it's connected to the drone.
So here's the thing, right? So the log will not be connected to the boat, but the log inside of it has a GPS tracker. So as soon as that gets deployed and the drone comes back, the ship will be able to track where this person is at and
It's just
send
gonna be
rescue.
floating, so they just-
Right, they're gonna be they're gonna be floating, but then we know
Exactly.
exactly where they are and they can go and be
Make
rescued.
sure that drone on the drone.
Where the sharks out? That's what I'm saying.
But what if the person
So,
comes out?
I don't have it in that picture, but there's a Wi-Fi tracker on the drone itself, and that's what communicates with the ship. Alright, one last question.
What if
Like
they're
right
already out on the boat and they already fall off the boat, but they don't know how to swim, so they're automatically down?
Mr. Flores, they're gonna need to leave in a couple
So that's an
seconds.
issue, and if they don't know how to swim, so that's what we're working on, so that it's quick. Alright, one last thing, with the drone.
Guys, listen,
One last thing with the
listen.
drone, so, this drone currently does not have a name. and I am looking for names for my drone. And I'm starting a little competition between all the sections. If somebody, if you're interested in submitting a name, talk to me at some other point, but I am looking for a name for my drone, and whoever gives me the most creative name, one will get a prize from me, and two, they might actually get to name the drone. So if you're interested in that, talk to me at some other point.